Well, today we are joined with Faith Harmer. She is with our Urban Nest Realty right there in Las Vegas, Nevada, serving the Valley area. And so welcome, Faith. I'm super excited to talk to you today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, we want to know, number one, how is one of our favorite places to visit just because of real estate, all of the conferences. We're literally there a good 5 times a year. How is the area doing? I mean, what's going on locally?
Well, we are on the pretty much full lockdown where you've got to have your note from your mommy to go out and be driving around. Although I haven't heard of anybody like being pulled over or really any issues with any of that. We are still considered an essential here. I know it's different state to state and city to city. So we still can't go out and show homes, but we do have new forms we've got to use, that kind of thing. So when it first, really hit here, everything just kind of came to a halt. There was a lot of cancellations, a lot of, not sure what was going on, buyers going, yeah, I'm scared. But then this last week, all of a sudden, we saw a pickup with buyers and with sellers. So while it's not the crazy active, we were in a very strong seller's market before this. While it's not that, it's definitely pleasantly surprising to see that things are still turning. Buyers still want to see. We just have to be careful. Make sure that people have, hand wipes and sanitizing gel and all that kind of stuff. Or we'll do virtual tours for them as well. Interesting thing that we've noticed that the price point between 200,000 and 300,000, which is normally the very hottest, anywhere, because less inventory and more buyers. That is the price point that has really kind of gone more stagnant, which is kind of surprising. So what we're finding is that 350, 400 to $700,000 range. That's actually turning. We're actually getting a lot of buyers in that price point, and in some cases, there's still a few multiple offers on that price point home if it's really nice and it's priced right. And then you get, a million over and it slows back down again. So that's the hot spot right now.
Well, that is interesting. And we have not heard that perspective, but it only makes sense because you think about people that are probably and most likely living paycheck to paycheck, entry level property, just getting started or whatnot. If they are on the brink of really keeping the cash that they have in hand and hunkering down, and really not wanting to make a move, but then you have that next level, or even the level after that, where they make cash isn't necessarily a problem. They're seeing this as an investment opportunity. They're saying now is the time to go ahead and upgrade, or now's the time to go ahead and really create some investment. So that's very interesting because usually it's the higher end homes, that are a little bit more stagnant. So that's a great.
Well, another little theory I have is probably those are the vast majority of our casino workers, bartenders, that price point, housekeepers, stuff like that. So I think that's why it's hit a little bit harder. And then you get into the 400 to 700, you could be more military, police officers, you get more into that. And obviously their jobs are very stable right now. So
You're right. It's so true. And, essential versus non-essential, all of the talk there and getting this figured out. How do you anticipate kind of the roll back into production, not only in real estate, but just the cities in general, like especially, Las Vegas? I know that they've set the date. I think is it May 3rd or something?
April 30th, as far as I know. I haven't heard anything past that yet, but that doesn't mean they won't extend it.
Right. And so I can only imagine, because it's the multiplier effect,
Yes.
of everything hitting and so many people, is so much open. So we're probably going to feel this effect for a while, especially in Vegas, correct?
Yes, I think so. I mean, I'm kind of the eternal optimist, so I could be wrong, but my thought process is, especially just kind of talking to clients and even seeing some of their Facebook posts, I think we probably will have a slight dip in prices. I don't think it's going to be this huge crash because I lived through the 2008 crash, and there's a lot of differences here. And I really think once we are given the okay to go back to work, it's going to be like a car peeling out of a garage that hasn't been out of the garage for 3 months in the Corvette. You know, I saw a picture of that on Facebook, and people are just going to be like, let's go. I want to get what I want. I want to enjoy my life after being on lockdown. I'm out. I'm doing it. I'm going to restaurants. I'm buying a house. I'm doing what I want to do. So I just see people coming out the gate really fast. So once we're back, I don't know when that is, but I think once people are released, it's going to be quite a different process. And I think we will climb up very quickly once that happens. I think we'll go back into a seller's market.
Yeah. That's so good. And I know that you've had to pivot your business. We've all pretty much had to pivot business as realtors, as small business owners. And how have you personally kept the ball moving down the field? You know, not treating this as like, oh, it's a snow day. You know, we're all locked in. Let's just binge watch a ton of movies. Not that we probably haven't done a little bit of that, but how are you keeping the ball going? How are you staying optimistic? How are you still, you know, growing your business during this time?
Well, I think it was a blessing that I did. I was in real estate. I've been in real estate here it'll be 24 years in June. So I have a lot of past experience to draw on from high times and low times. When I first started real estate, average time on the market was 4 to 6 months. Like, you took a listing and you settled in. And we didn't appreciate more than, you appreciated 10,000 a year back then in 1996, 1997, you were doing something, because we just didn't. We stayed pretty flat. And then, you know, things got crazy, and then there was the crash. So I really think living through both of those things, and understanding that, you know, things never stay the same. Thank goodness. So if you're on a high, there's going to be a down. If you're on the down, it comes back. You know, you only lose money if you sell, just like stocks during the low time. If you can hang in there, hang in there. But also I have a team of all women. So we do our Zoom meetings. We get together. We actually even do meditation together on Zoom. So we're just really keeping each other up. I have 2 buyer's agents and then a full-time licensed transaction coordinator. So we're really good with keeping each other up.
Yeah, that's good. Keeping the ball rolling, keeping it excited, and just that anticipation, reaching out to clients, you know,
that too.
They're in need, and just checking in, right? People appreciate so much if we just pick up the phone and call. And even things like this, you know, it's a great time to get to know others that are in the industry, and you know, build those relationships. It's real estate's relationship based, correct?
Absolutely. So yeah, and I even read something the other day that letter writing was going back up during this time. So yeah, definitely reaching out to your clients, making sure everybody's okay, seeing if they need anything. Definitely a lot more chatting on the phone and text going on.
Yeah, that's so true. So true. Well, if we are talking to those, whether they are in the real estate industry, you know, home staging, they're just looking for some inspiration or maybe some nuggets of wisdom from you. You mentioned you've lived through situations that it's the ups and the downs. So how do you stay positive? I mean, do you have any words of wisdom for those of us that are kind of going through this and maybe a little bit down, or not necessarily looking forward to what's to come?
I guess the best piece is my grandma always said, this too shall pass. And just know that we're not going to be stuck here forever. It's hard right now. And the hardest part is not knowing how long something is going to go on. If you knew the end date for sure, then it'd be easier to stay positive. But just know that, you know, there will be an end, and we will come back up. We will get a breath of fresh air again. And just meditate. I try to meditate and walk every day. Just, you know, the suggestions that they're sending out there. Just make sure and stay in contact with people, and basically try to watch your thoughts. Mm-hmm. Try to twist it around and go, you know what, this is not going to be forever. And don't let your mind take you down that rabbit hole of, oh my God, it's the end of the world.
Yeah, that's so good. And I know you guys, especially there in the Las Vegas area, you have quite a bit to a lot of activity, more so than most cities that you're going to be able to see and watch and be involved in as everything starts back up. I know that we would plan on being there in July for market and, for we've got some other people that are coming in together to meet. So, we're just looking forward to the future, looking forward to, being able to travel once again, whatever that is, and really just, appreciating, I guess, what we had that we may have taken for granted, right?
I totally agree with that. And that's kind of that coming out of the gate thing that I was talking about, because I think we are going to have a new level of appreciation for our freedoms and the fact that you can walk into a store typically and buy anything, like including toilet paper,
right?
Whatever you need, and now you can't. Thermometers, just crazy stuff.
You're so right. And as the real estate industry, it'll be so fascinating to watch, how quickly things get back to normal. And I love your perspective that, we're seeing other higher end properties move. And typically it's the entry levels. And so hopefully those people too will not be afraid to make the move when they need to. So maybe there are people watching. This is like a good nugget that I'd love you to leave us with. Maybe there are people like that are saying, I'm one of those, and I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I don't know if right now is the time to necessarily sell or purchase. Do you have any thoughts for them?
Well, we're moving into spring here, so that's always really good. I think it's a really good, if you're a seller, I think it'd be a really good time to prep your home for sale. Spruce up your landscaping, do any painting, carpet replacing, emptying out the house, clearing it of clutter, that kind of thing, and get prepared. And then if it's after April 30th, we're allowed to go back, but if not, say it's May 15th or May 30th. Right about that time, I think this would be kind of a magical time to me personally to put your house on the market. If I have a couple rental properties, so if I were going to do it, that would be the time. I'd be prepping it and making sure it sparkles and looks good and is ready for pictures and staging.
Yes.
And doing that. For buyers, I can't say for sure where the prices are going to go. I personally think it's just going to be a small dip, but you have a lot less competition. So if you can qualify, now is actually a pretty good time, because maybe you can get some closing costs. Maybe you can get, not a ton off the price, but maybe a little bit, depending on which seller you're working with. If you can't qualify right now because your job's been furloughed, just keep in contact with your realtor and your lender and just say, hey, is there anything else I need to do? Like maybe your credit needs just a little bit of work, or how long, once I get the green light to go back to work, how long will it be? Do I need to provide you with another 1 or 2 paycheck stubs? What's the process going to look like, so that as soon as I have my employment back, I can just go out and find me that house right away before things get too crazy with the seller's market again.
Yeah, what great advice. I mean, that was such words of wisdom there. All the way from, hey, we're all looking probably for something to do in some of the downtime. So let's go ahead and get a little elbow grease on our property. What can we do? Because we know that we're saving money as well. Clean out the closets. Go ahead and start editing and, getting stuff ready for sale, a garage sale or Facebook Marketplace, whatever you need to do to get that property ready. And that way you can enjoy it for maybe a couple of months while you're getting your paychecks in, you're ready to start qualifying again. That is fabulous. So I love it. Maybe some paint projects, whatever it looks like, just get some work done. Don't sit and wait.
And how many sellers say after you've helped them fix up the property, carpet and all that, And I've been guilty of this too. It's like, why didn't I do this while I lived here so I could enjoy it?
Exactly. Exactly. No better time than now. You probably have some kids that can help. You never know.
Yeah.
Put everyone to work.
Put them to work.
That's good. And if you're a realtor, some of the points that Faith just brought out, do a little video for your potential sellers, your upcoming sellers, your clientele, to say, hey, while you're at home, here's 5 things you can do. And now you're creating that social media strategy. You're staying in front of people, put it in an email with some tips. I mean, just some great stuff. So on both ends, information is great. It's just another reason to reach out.
Yeah, and another thing they could do is take a video of their house or of a room, send it to their realtor or to their stager and say, hey, what should I be doing? What tips? What are you going to want me to do when, to get this house ready for market?
Yeah, that's great too, because a lot of us, even our staging community, we're locked down we're not going into occupied properties, maybe only doing a few vacants, and with the strategy of staying safe and clean. However, you're right. We had to do that the other day. We had to say, sorry, we can't come in, but here's what you can do. And literally gave them a laundry list with pictures, did a little FaceTime with them and said, here are some things that you can do. And by the way, if you have not sold, they were going to put their house on the market. If you haven't sold, once we do get released, we feel confident in going in safely, we'll reach back out to you and see how, we can help you on the back end. So right. I mean, great time to really prep no matter who you are. And if you are that agent, give the prep checklist. Stagers help those agents get the checklist together. It's such a great thing.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Faye. Thank you for taking time out of your day. And we appreciate you so much. And hopefully we'll be in Las Vegas soon.
I'd love to see you live and in person when you get here.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.